from the Daily Mail, because of course it is from the Daily Mail. A woman has revealed, it's a woman, yeah. I don't think it's a T-woman either. I think this is a legit woman, and she must just have a whole lot of testosterone coursing through her veins. Has revealed that she refuses to shave off her mustache and unibrow. She wants to weed out potential love interest. I don't get that. I mean, what is her point of view? That they should love me regardless? Did she ever stop to think that these guys might? This is so interesting to me. I wonder why it doesn't occur to her that these dudes might like her. There might be dudes out there that like her because of her unibrow and mustache. Did she ever stop to think that? I bet she didn't. Despite the fact people stare at her and make cruel comments. Yeah, jeez, how evil of them. Yeah. Did she ever stop to think that maybe she is unsightly to them and offensive to them, and maybe she should, you know, shave? I mean, if I walked around unkept, disheveled, with my hair sticking out in all freaking directions, which it will, by the way, because my hair is kinky as F. It's curly, but it's the type of curly that if I let it grow, it just grows out. I've got a fro, a literal fro. I could have an afro. It's that bad. I could just let that grow, right? And never put a comb in it. Never use one of them hair picks that the black people like to do to, you know, puff out their fros. Let my hair grow, you know. Just look totally horrible, and people would look at me and stare at me, and they're not allowed to do that. That's cruel. That's evil, right? Yeah. I make a spectacle of myself. Oh, but it's the fault of other people for not accepting the spectacle that is I. Tutor Eldina Jagangjak, sure I butchered that, from Copenhagen, Denmark, said while some men, particularly teenagers, stare at her brows like they're a third head, she gets more positive attention than she received when she removed the hair. I'm guessing the translation here is she's an unattractive woman, so she didn't get attention before because she's unattractive, and now she's getting some attention, but only because the guys that she's getting attention from are soy boy fetishists that are into hairy chicks. I see. Continue. She insisted she feels no less feminine. Bearded lady with a beard feels no less feminine with a beard. Okay. And her decision to stand out from the crowd. Is that what we're calling it? Yeah. Right, because that makes her brave and empowered to stand out. Has instilled her with greater self-confidence. Bearded lady with feminine self-confidence. Okay. I called it. She's unattractive. Okay. And she's got the crazy bug eyes, you. Yeah. So Eldina told how she grew up in a small city where everyone was expected to fit in. Yeah, imagine that, people living in cities having a sense of, fitting in. Shocker! The idea of conformity, when you're all packed together like sardines in a can. As she got older, she said she grew frustrated by the fact that women are expected to spend more time and money on maintaining their looks. Are they, though? Are they really? I mean, let's be honest here. Does makeup really cost that much? I mean, you can go to the dollar store and buy makeup, right? Do you have to buy the highest end makeup? And who said you have to wear makeup anyway? You ladies are the one that care about makeup. We don't care about makeup. I mean, you wash your face, you keep it clean. That's enough for me. I've seen some pretty good looking Amish broads. They don't wear makeup, okay? And by the way, makeup prematurely ages you. You're covering your skin up in this thick layer of goop. Your face can't breathe. We don't know what you really actually look like. It's highly manipulative because the makeup itself is meant to portray to the world that you're having an orgasm at the time with your ruiny red cheeks and your red lips. It's a way of manipulating men. We don't need the makeup. You ladies do. And by the way, we could tell she's not spending anything on makeup. What are you talking about? She's an unattractive woman. She's not a good-looking broad. Oh, I love how women that are unattractive and don't care about how they look complain about having to spend more on their looks. Money they clearly never spend. Yeah. So odd. So very odd. Yeah, and I have to remove hair. You know, by the way, I love this. She has to maintain her looks through hair removal more than men are. What are you talking about? Men have more hair and they got to remove more. We shave our faces every day, sweetheart. When you look at that cumulatively, the cumulative outcome is we spend much more time and energy removing hair and end up removing much more hair than you ladies have to. And what is she talking about? I wonder, are her legs hairy too? They probably are. Oh, God. Eldina said, before I let my unibrow grow out, I did feel like there were extremely limited options to how women were supposed to look. What do you mean, limited options? I don't understand. What do you mean? I don't know what she's talking about. Compared to men, we're expected to spend more time, more money to be deemed visually acceptable, especially when you are in public spaces. Well, men do care more about looks, right? But you ladies are the one that put more pressure on each other than us dudes do, okay? But if you want to snag a man, yeah. A guy that's not a freak, that is. I mean, sure, there are dudes out there that'll be attracted to you, but they're freaks. And they only care about your facial hair, and they're only into you because it's a fetish, not because they care about your virtues or values. If a man doesn't shave and doesn't pluck his eyebrows, no one notices or comments, and it's nothing out of the ordinary. Wait, is that her? What? Just like many other women, I've learned to police myself. For instance, I used to not feel comfortable going outside unless my eyebrows were the accepted small size, and I wouldn't go to the gym unless my legs were clean shaven. It's good habits. Wait a second, is that her? That's actually not a bad pick. But looking at the arm, I think I see why you weren't getting the attention, honey. You're a bit of a chunky girl. Yeah. So she's chunky. She's chunky. Her face ain't bad. If she lost weight, she could probably get that attention from, guys that were decent catches instead of no attention because she's overweight. In Denmark, believe you me, there's less chunkos, less fatties there than in the States. So, yeah, guys have trimmer options. But now she's getting more attention now that she let all that hair grow out. Yeah. For instance, I used to feel... Okay, I already read that. Now we've got this... Oh, yeah, that's a downgrade. Major downgrade with all that hair, at least in my eyes. Oh, yeah. So Eldina in 2020 decided to stop plucking her hair between her eyebrows. Even I do that. And removing the hair on her upper lip. How hard is that anyway? Men have to shave daily. She would just have to do like a wax the lip once a month. When you wax, you pull out the roots as well, so you don't have to worry about the hair growing back for quite some time. Realizing she only felt less feminine when they were fuller because of societal expectations. It's not societal. Why? I don't understand. Why do these people argue that men should care less about these things, acknowledging that the majority of men have these preferences, which to me tells me that there's a biological basis for it, then at the same time saying it's society? Well, geez Louise, who passes on culture and societal expectations and norms? Women! So why are you blaming men? Are you telling me women are teaching young boys and men to not want hairy broads, and that they should instead want thin and less hairy broads? Is that what you're telling me? I don't get this. By the way, isn't that kind of arbitrary? I mean, if it's totally completely arbitrary, why are men choosing to like thin women? Why are they being taught to like thin women instead of chunky women? Why are they being taught by some kind of society to like less hairy women than more hairy? Wouldn't it make more sense that it's biological in nature? And then we just don't want to be with hairy dudes because that reminds us of men, and it makes us think of a man, and it makes us see you as more masculine, and since we want feminine chicks, and being really hairy is not a sign of femininity, I mean, wouldn't that make more sense? No. She hasn't thought this through, I don't think. Anyhow, well, it's most leftist. Eldina said she doesn't care what she looks like. Uh-huh. Yeah, so that's the problem right there, really. Or what other people think of her anymore. But admits men have shouted offensive remarks at her in the street. Good. Yeah, maybe that's what you need. Maybe that's what you need. Shaming is only okay if you're a woman-hating, Nazi on the right that believes in stupid stuff like biological determinism contributing to preferences. Yeah, of course. She added that she notices men staring at her eyebrows like she has a third head. Yeah. Now I've chosen to focus on the tasks and goals that I need to have done. So she's a modern woman, empowered, don't need no man, of course. And less on how I appear while doing them and whether people like me or not, because I probably won't ever see them again. And if I do, I still don't care, she explained. Well, she's not going to win any awards for good writing. Or being an excellent speaker. Her rhetoric is crap. I don't care what people think. I don't want it to become this big thing. Seems like your entire identity is focused around your hair, so you're the one making it a big thing. No pun intended. You're putting it front and center, but you don't want it to be a big thing. Yeah, I disagree. I think that you want that to be a big thing, okay? Yeah. But it's personal choice for everyone to make themselves, and I wish the people wouldn't care no matter how a woman chooses to look. But that's not how the world is. You can use this, this is how the world ought to be, and then give your prescriptives for how you think it should be, and you think people shouldn't care about this until the cows come home. But the truth of the matter is, people do care about this, so shouldn't you make efforts to conform to how things are, instead of idealistically trying to change things to morph and conform to how you think they ought to be? This is the problem with lefties. They think that, through pressure of the mind and belief, they can change objective reality. The unfortunate thing is, once I saw her with all the hair trimmed and hygienic and all of that manly garbage removed from her face, she doesn't have a bad face. But I can see, now that I see more of her body, she's a chunky monkey. So, yeah. Oh, if only she lost some weight and, waxed the upper lip, she'd do a lot better in the attracting men department. But they would then be attracted to me for my looks. Well, who's attracted to you now? Fetishist circus freak lovers. Same difference, only they're perverted, degenerate weirdos. While the guys that are actually attracted to you for your looks, if you actually tried to look better, would be normal men. God forbid I attract a normal man. I can't even acknowledge normal objective reality, so I don't want a normal man. I'd feel so abnormal standing by him. Yeah, well, he definitely doesn't want you, honey. Yeah. I don't care what people think. Yeah, I think you do. I think you do. I think you object too much. Yeah. Thou doth protest too much, honey. I think you care very much. You just trying to cope now and convince us that you don't, and yourself as well. I used to feel less feminine. Yeah. Whatever. And this is, how much more is there? Geez, they're really trying to indoctrinate us. This story just goes on and on and on. This is all a form of social engineering to get people used to and indoctrinated into liking stuff that they normally wouldn't, via biological determinism, be keyed to liking. Wow. Let me see if there's anything left in this mumbo jumbo that is interesting to read. She knows most girls around her panicking at the age of 13 and 14, starting to shave and pluck any and everything. Yeah, they're not lazy like you. They wanted to be accepted as female. Oh, God forbid you be accepted as a woman. I eased slowly into it, so it wasn't like I made an announcement. Yeah. Despite this, Eldina believes that men only pass comment on her looks based on their own insecurities. Oh, of course you do, because, any criticism men have of women, it's got to be about their insecurities. They can't be observing something that you're doing wrong, because you're perfect. I've had rude comments, like unibrow. It's not a rude comment. You have a unibrow. It's just observing objective truth. Facts are hate speech. Yes, I've had a few teenage boys yell at me in the streets. Well, whoop-de-doo. When it comes to dating, Eldina believes that her unibrow facial hair is a blessing because it means she gets to weed out any conservative potential suitors. So I was right. She doesn't want normies. She just wants dudes that are attracted to, the bearded lady. Who are put off by her look straight away. And in turn, she receives more positive attention. I don't think so. I don't think she receives more positive attention. She gets more attention, but only from the freaks and the geeks and the weirdos. Aldina continued, the reaction is actually almost completely positive. Yeah. But I am sure that there are some negative comments behind my back, but I don't really care about those. Yeah. I've noticed a few grown men stare at my unshaven legs. I was right, her legs are unshaven too. Oh my God. And my eyebrows like I had a third head. So I know what's going on here. These are guys who just want to smash. They want to hit it and quit it. And they know that if they play to her insecurities and compliment her and say they have no problem with the unibrow and the hairy legs and the mustache, that she'll be so flattered by their ability to look past her physical shortcomings that she'll think they actually have a real interest in her. And then she'll let them smash. And then they hit it and quit it. Either that or they're legitimate circus freak lovers. If anything, I get more positive attention. Again, I don't believe that. She feels more confident than ever. Yeah, that's a lie. I don't believe that. I'm more confident. Yeah, you're saying it too much, honey. It's just a cope. It's also helped me to be more visually open and creative, and I have more courage. Yeah, you've got the courage for the wrong stuff, honey. I think you should do what you want to do. Of course you do. You are a liberated modern woman. Yeah, do whatever you want, right? Yeah, no consequences, right? Of course, some jobs and places you have to fit a description, so it's going to be a compromise. Yeah. But I thought you weren't willing to compromise, right? I would take it slowly and safely because you never know how people will react. Yeah. Just more coping and gobbledygook, pathos, sophistry, nonsense. I want to convey the message that we're all different. Yeah, but it depends on how we're different, doesn't it? And that's okay. Yeah. There's no right or wrong, but every person... There is a right or wrong. What are you talking about? There's no right or wrong. See? I was right. She's a libtard. There's no right or wrong. Everything's relative. No such thing as objective reality in regards to what people find attractive, generally speaking, either. Right, honey? Yeah. Meanwhile, I thought she would get with a fatso dude. Despite their gender... You should have the right to do as they want. Oh, yeah. Well, you do. But there's consequences. By the way, this would be the same person that says, you have free speech, but you don't have the freedom from consequence. Yeah. But she thinks she should have freedom from consequence. Yeah. In regards to how she presents herself to the world. Do what's comfortable for you. And the right friends will stick around. Will they? Yeah. Maybe if they're beta orbiter dudes that are super thirsty. But otherwise, no. So there's an older pic where she was probably thinner. I'm going to say it. She's got an okay face. She could probably still do to lose a little weight there. But if she plucked and shaved and, waxed it, she'd have a lot better odds of attracting a guy. But right, she doesn't want a dude that would be attracted to a plucked, shaved, and waxed chick. So interesting. Anyway, the story goes on to say, by deeming some women less feminine, even though you deem some men less masculine, and I'm sure you deem them toxically masculine, i.e. too masculine, we can't do the same with the woman. Society excludes... There's no society. There's just individuals, okay? But you can't see the world in that way because you're a big, giant commie socialist. You believe everybody is, collective, in a collective, represents a collective, a part of a collective, some kind of monolith of some kind that's attached to their identity via gender or race, even though race doesn't exist. Yeah. Make that make sense. In many areas of the world, women do have more visible and darker hair, and they're forced or nudged to change their appearances. Yeah, by other women. Men don't give a crap. As long as you're feminine. So there's this underlying prejudice that women from Southern Europe or the Middle East are inherently less feminine. No, there's not. No, I don't know what you're talking about. And therefore, they have to change a lot about themselves to fit in. No, they don't. That's a lie. By the way, that's a straw man. And you're conflating hair color to amount of hair or where the hair is. So there's a totally, completely different categories altogether that you are conflating. So, I think we have to ask the question, why do we as a society? There's no society. There's just individuals. Deem it so important that women remove hair from their bodies. It depends on where it is. Because women, by and large, don't have hair in certain places. Some women do, but they're the exception. The vast majority, 95%, don't have hair in certain places. In other places, you don't want hair, okay? You don't want it. Hairy legs on a woman? No. So men want women to look as feminine as possible. That means as little hair on certain parts of their body as possible. You can have hair on your head. You can have eyebrows, but no unibrows, okay? and non-hairy legs. There's got to be some standards for appearance and maximizing femininity, right? No! Only men have to be held to some kind of standard, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, these are the very same broads that wouldn't get with a dude unless he made X amount of dollars and had X amount of extra luggage around his waist. But, those standards, those preferences are okay. Yeah, but a man can't have a preference for us. Meanwhile, that's a pretty easy thing to control, isn't it? I've spoken about this before. Ladies, you got to shave your legs once every 2 weeks. Are we going to release men from having to shave their faces every day? No. I like a clean-shaven man. Right. Of course, I think it should be so irrelevant. You should, but it ain't. But of course, she's a socialist, so she thinks everything's a social construct. It's all about power, dynamics, and it's just the people in power, i.e. the patriarchy, who decided that this unrealistic or this arbitrary, if it's arbitrary, why did we pick that instead of hair? Why did we go with no hair instead of hair? But anyway, they just picked this, preference for mostly hairless female bodies and imposed it on us as a form of oppression. So we gotta break away from that. Because it's part of patriarchy, of course. Yeah, it's a part of patriarchy that we do all the dangerous jobs and work ourselves to death and are the only ones going to war and the only ones that have to be drafted and we go to war and die to protect you ladies. Yeah, it's that patriarchy as well. How about we get rid of that and you have to get drafted? No. They're okay with that one. It benefits them. Yeah, I think it should be so irrelevant as there are so many other and more important things to focus on. And yet, it's never going to be irrelevant because the vast majority of women do not have lots of hair in those places. And what hair they do have in those places, they shave off because men don't like that. And it would look horrible regardless. It's patchy and it's patchwork. And again, it's a representation of masculinity by and large because it's mostly men that have hair in these places in any great quantity. So women want to maximize the amount of femininity that they display to the world so as to attract a man. But of course, you don't care about that. So what do you care, right? Yeah, as you make a whole article and videos about how little you care. So anyway, there you go, Eldina, who isn't actually an unattractive broad once all the hair is gone, but looks atrocious with the hair. And also, is she thinner in that pic? Is it just me, or does she look like she might have lost some weight too? And maybe that's why she's getting some extra attention as well for her physique. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Are we men just horrible, evil, shallow creatures because we like chicks to be mostly hairless except for what's on their heads and their eyebrows, and of course, their arms are going to have a little bit of hair, obviously. Are we evil and horrible for caring about that kind of thing? And should this be the norm, the new normal, the ideal, or does she look horrible? Does she look hideous in that picture? And men should not accept this. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Is this just a new move by the left to push things that the powers that be know men find inherently unattractive, and hence men and women are further divided and split up, never to get together in any real, meaningful, powerful way again, which is exactly what they want, to divide us by any means necessary to reduce the power that we have? Let me know what you think in the comments, and please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. On YouTube, I am Bachelor Philosopher. On BitChute and Rumble, I am known as the Realist Philosopher. And if you really like and support my content and would like to offer a little bit of added support, go check out my Patreon. It's a per-piece Patreon. So whenever I make one of these live streams, one of these podcasts, I essentially edit it and post the edited content there. You can listen to the show in its entirety. Well, not its entirety. It's edited quality-wise and such. So it's like listening to your favorite radio show, but without the adverts. And you can put a cap, of course, on how much you donate. So I make 5 pieces, but you only want to donate $4, you can put a cap. That's up to you. And I am the Realist Philosopher on Patreon as well. And on that note, I'm out of here. I am Bachelor Philosopher, also known as the Realist Philosopher, and I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.